Well, hello, you bearded bastards, and welcome back once again to Waterfall, Chamberpoint, where right now it is the 22nd of Slate 1212, which I believe is our 7th year here. It's just so easy to lose track. That's fine though, not too concerned about it. Things are plugging straight along and it's really good to see. It's a constant flurry of activity here in our rowdy coastal home. Extremely rowdy. Everyone knows it. Things have been getting progressively worse too since that cyclops attack. All the dead bodies, the carnage. Yeah, it didn't really do much good for our moods, which were already in a pretty bad state. Now, just over here, down this way here, you can see this little improvement. Isn't that nice? It's a sort of an above ground waterfall mist generator. The water comes down here into these grates, goes through down underground, and in the process of doing so creates this nice cloud of mist that dwarves can walk through. It does some good, but not enough good. Not at all. And in fact, we are thinking of taking some more drastic measures coming right up too. Oh, but before we go into too much more detail, I'll show you how this thing works here. Yes, the water comes down right here. From up above, if we move up, you can see this square structure. Water is falling down into this structure from up above here, where you can see we have an aqueduct. Following that over, you can see we have a pump stack, which is powered by windmills. And so this water here is being drawn from the ocean, just being sucked straight up and into the village, where it creates this nice cooling mist. Looking down underground, you can see there's this channel, which leads the water away from town, right over here, through this pipeline, and back out to the sea. But yes, this is not intended to be a permanent way to improve our moods around here, and I do not think it will function as such anyways. Things are past the point of no return in terms of our stress. Just look at this. Freeze frame, everyone stop for a second. All these dwarves here. You can see how upset they are. Again, cannot blame them. Now, we have to remember what we're here for. There is a serious threat in the form of the beardless Baron. Till this day, his forces are growing down to the south. And we started this fortress here, Waterfall, in order to repel that threat. And we cannot do that in this state. It's been impossible, and will continue to be impossible unless we can get a handle on things. And so we look now to Udil, our necromancer mare, worshipper of Gostrim Pamnot, the Velvet of Vaults, the human god of pregnancy, creation, and rebirth. Now Udil here has himself a little bit of a plan that I think is going to work out just swimmingly. But there's some things we have to get set up beforehand, if this has any chance of working, that is. Because certainly if this whole thing goes wrong, well, we'll be in for some serious trouble. Now remember, quite a while back, we were talking about how necromancer powers work, and it's kind of complex, and the intricacies are lost to non-necromancers. It's kind of hard to explain, but one of the big factors is that necromancer needs a catalyst in order to be able to cast their necromantic powers. A catalyst meaning something that puts them in a state of mortal fear. So basically, if we're going to be bringing anything back from the dead, part of our plan, mind you, then we need a way to create a source of mortal fear for our necromancers. And we could do this by trapping some sort of a scary beastie inside of a cage or something like that. And that should be enough to set them in a state of fight or flight. But really, it's kind of peaceful around here. There was that cyclops, of course. But other than that, we haven't really seen that much. And that is why we're going to head down to the caverns right now. We're going to open up our gate, which has not been open in quite some time. And we'll see what happens. Going to head down there, maybe set up some cage traps. And if all goes well, then we should be all set. So let's do it. Now I have to imagine this is going to go just fine. We do have somebody on their way down here to pull this lever. Oh, and you will notice too that there are a bunch of horn beetles here. We just kind of put them here temporarily, just to kind of guard the passage. Plus we do have Ted here as well. She's the one we're going to be sending down to scout out the place. Okay, the gate is open. Fantastic. Well, Ted, you ready? Let's have ourselves a little expedition. What do you say? The forgotten beast, Siga Usunakpur, has come. A gigantic three-eyed serpent. It has thin wings of stretched skin and it appears to be emaciated. Its bronze scales are jagged and set far apart. Beware its noxious secretions. Well, here's a threat. Interesting. Okay, it's coming straight for the fortress, seemingly. Well, this isn't totally excellent. As we saw with the cyclops, we don't really have any way to defend ourselves, really. Again, horn beetles. But there are far fewer horn beetles up there than there were grizzly bears fighting that cyclops. And this thing actually appears to be a bit more dangerous than that cyclops was, which is saying something, because that thing was pretty dangerous. I'm extremely concerned right now. We do have somebody on their way to close up that gate again, but I don't think they'll be able to do it in time, frankly. Oh, this might get extremely ugly in a hurry if we can't do something. Hey, can I get someone to pull this lever real quick? Extremely quickly, please. Yes, you. Pull that lever. Okay, lever is pulled. And the gate is closed. Wonderful. And just in the nick of time, too. Siga went up there, checked that door, and then came back down. It's creepy to think it's been waiting down there this whole time for us to open that gate. You know what, actually? Remember that Testree's warrior that was down here? Quite a few years back, they were banished to the caverns, and then we found them later dead. I don't doubt that this creature is the one that killed them. Interesting. Well, now I'm thinking that something like that is sure to send one of our necromancers into a state of fight or flight, right? But how to capture such a beast? Well, it looks like we better get to planning, eh? And quickly, too. Okay, getting right to it. I figured the best thing we could do is build a sort of a tunnel leading from that gate up around our mines. We'll wall up the sides real quick, get these beetles out of here, and then next time we open it up, it'll force that forgotten beast to go northwards and through this new tunnel. That'll be the first step of the plan. And also, while we're doing this, I'm going to start pointing out our tantruming dwarves, just to give you an idea of how dangerous this place is and how much we have to do this thing. It's imperative that we make this change. And due to the fact that everyone keeps voting for Udiel, I have to imagine everyone agrees. It's something we have to do if this world's ever going to be at peace. Okay, back down here in the mines, you can see that corridor has been dug out, and now we have a series of bridges going in. Now, the hope is that we can get all these bridges in place, open up that lower gate, and then when we do and that creature comes through here, we can pull a single lever and all these gates will close simultaneously. And whichever section that beast happens to be in is going to be its new home. And after we get that creature stuck, we'll figure out what we're doing next. Gonna take a little bit to get these things set up though, I think. Back up here in the gleeful fishman, we have a jeweler throwing a tantrum, starting a fist fight. Over here we have another of our Gorlaks, Etter Bekarkog, throwing a tantrum and starting another fist fight. We've been going for 7 years now at least, and we cannot seem to get a handle on the stress of these people. This entire place is going to implode if we don't do something about it. I'll also take this time to know Urvad Kodolithmik, the first necromancer to have arrived here. She's doing very well, currently socializing and reciting poetry over here in the Farmers Guild Hall. A long-time farmer she is. But she's also a damned one. Yes, that's right. She's an intelligent undead, just like Stackhud now. And you know what? She seems to be doing absolutely fine, doesn't she? Certainly seems to be the case. Good head on her shoulders. We haven't seen that much of her because she has not been a problem at all. And all in all, I think she's a pretty good representative of what this fortress can be very soon. Alrighty, back down here to the mines. Looks like all those bridges are in place now. Just gotta get them linked up to a lever. This lever down here, actually. It's a bit far away from where our dwarves are gonna be, but it should be fine. Here's hoping anyways. Back over this way here, we have a dead fishery worker due to someone's tantrum. This sort of stuff has been going on all the time in the background so far. It's pretty constant. I'm only showing you this now to let you know how important it is that we do something. In the fortress today, every dwarf has a nice spacious bedroom, 3x3 at least, if not bigger. We also have an enormous variety of food produced by our farms, some of which have been destroyed by tantruming dwarves, a regular occurrence. We have well-appointed guild halls for all of our workers, and same goes for temples for all of our local religions. We have a nice mist generating structure over this way now, certainly should be helping more than it is. We have more than enough clothing for everyone, even though it appears that some of our workshops have been destroyed by tantruming dwarves. And on top of that all, we have the Angry Tournament, a time of the year we get to just relax, sit back, and enjoy ourselves. At this point, I don't know what else we could be doing. It's really kind of frustrating. And again, it's why we have to do this. Up over this way here, you could see Sausage, fighting some dwarves, throwing a tantrum. Yeah, a bunch of blood all over the place. It's likely she's gonna lose it soon if we don't do something. Yeah, you know, I suppose we really haven't taken a look too hard at how rowdy this place is exactly. We have been looking at an awful lot of the positive aspects of our fortress. The architecture, the homes, the tournament. But I really can't stress how much of a hellhole this place can be. It's a mess. And I hate to keep harping on it. But if we don't do this, then our fortress will either A, fall to attackers, or B, fall to itself. Or C, I suppose it would just dissipate. Everyone would go their own separate ways and leave this place abandoned. Ah yes, another dead dwarf over here in the Crafts Dwarf Guild Hall. And there we go, just hucking another body down into the caves. As we've been doing this entire time, mind you. You know, it's kind of hard to tell how many bodies are down here right now. But, you know, it's at least 20, 30 perhaps. And bear in mind that the only threat we faced so far was that Cyclops, who I think killed 4 people. Rather, I think it killed 8 people, but we were able to bring 4 back to life. So only 4 of these bodies belong to that Cyclops. The rest are from ourselves. Again, just trying to give you an idea of how upset Chamberpoint is. Really gotta hammer that point home. Because really what we're about to do could be seen as a bit monstrous. Just trying to make it known that in the context of things, it might actually not be. The forgotten beast Erak has come. A gigantic, scaly ladybug. It has a curling trunk and it is ravening. Its spring green scales are oval-shaped and overlapping. Beware its poisonous bite. Well, well, well. From the sounds of it, we have another beastie down in the caverns. Interesting. It's certainly going to add a bit of danger to this new project we're working on, huh? I think it'll be fine, though. Not too concerned. Now then, okay. Looking back over here in the mines, I think these bridges are all set now. Let's give this lever a pull. Oh dear, what's going on over here? Actually, I'm not too sure what's going on. Somebody was just found dead. It looks like there's a few people fighting now. Oh my goodness, a whole bunch of wounded too. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. The fortress is going to entirely implode if we don't do something ASAP. Looks like there's fighting over here too. Another brawl has broken out. Can we stop? My god, dwarves. That Cyclops really turned this fortress upside down. It's been a powder keg all along, but that's all we needed to set this explosion off. Anyways, back down here in the mines, you can see these bridges here. They're all closed, 100% good. So I think we're ready to get this show on the road. And so here we go, I guess. Just gotta get someone down here to pull these levers real quick. Okay, the pens are open and the caverns are open. Here we go. We're gonna keep our eyes down in the caverns, just so we can see when one of those beasts come running in. I'm sure they will shortly. Oh, there we go. Yes, here we are. Erak, the ladybug, coming screaming into the fortress right now. Oh, paused. We could see a mother and their baby heading down the tunnel. Boy, I was stupid. Okay, gonna turn on the Angry Tournament Burrow just real quick. And now we have to time it just perfectly so this mother can get the hell out of this pen while we also pull that gate lever again in time. Okay, I just ordered this lever to be pulled, hoping it gets done in the next couple of seconds. Any of you guys can pull it, really. Anybody walking past the lever, okay, it's pulled. And looking up here, it looks like that mother and baby got out. Okay. And we caught Eric. Beautiful work, dwarves. That'll work just fine. Now we'll also close that cavern gate just to make things nice and secure once again. Although I will note that we did not see a single sign of that three-eyed serpent. They seemed awful eager to come in that first time, but the second, not so much. That's fine though, because we now have our beast. Just what we need. Okay, let's get to work. Okay, well, I suppose I've got a little idea cooked up here. And admittedly, this is getting more and more ghoulish as we go on. But again, when you look at our situation here, it's all pretty precarious. We'll perish soon if we don't do something. You can have a look down this way here and see a little shrine that we just built. This one's to the Velvet of Vaults, the human god of pregnancy, creation, and rebirth. I figured that'd be apt. Dwarves will have to walk through this room here to experience their rebirth. And actually, you know what? This god here works very well in tandem with one of our dwarven gods. And so you know what? I think we should make a shrine to them as well. Yeah, we'll get to that right now. Having a look down below, we can see the transformation chamber. It's coming along. We're getting a bridge put in place down here. And yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. Up above that, we have some doors, some levers, all kinds of crazy crap getting set up. Oh boy, just realized it's the 1st of Sandstone 12/12 mid-autumn. So that would usually mean it's time for the Angry Tournament, but this year I'm afraid we have bigger fish to fry. A damn shame it is too. But unfortunately this has to be done before anything else. There are still tantrums popping up all over the fortress. Dwarves dying, being injured severely. I just haven't been mentioning it. I figure you've had a good enough taste at this point. Right here you can see that other temple I was mentioning. A temple to a dwarven god, Lorsith, god of discipline, order, laws, and death. Which is exactly in line with what we're doing here, and I do realize I haven't really gone into full detail as to what we're doing here, but I guess you kinda gotta read between the lines a bit, or just wait and see what happens. Things should be prepared soon enough. Okay, Chamberpoint, the day has come. Preparations are all set, and so we have to set our plans into motion. Let's do this. Our first order of business is going to be to get some of our dwarves to safety, the dwarves who aren't going to be joining into our ritual here. There are a select few, but we'll go into detail about them later on. And now we have to get everyone to head down to the, well, past the shrines, the transformation area. Go ahead, everyone, on your way. May Lorsith guide you. May Lorsith guide you. You will soon be reborn, my friend. Order will be brought to Oridashi, no worries. There we go, yes, there we are. Now, I kind of expect this thing to go messily, I believe, because it's pretty difficult to pick out all the animals. I tried my best, but I can see some dwarves hauling animals right now, a puppy, a pig. I think I saw one guy carrying a corpse, which isn't great, but as long as we can hurry up and do this, then, well, I don't know. Just hoping it works out well. Well enough. Oh, this could be such a bad idea. Okay, just a couple stragglers left. Let's go, hurry it up. They're terribly wounded, but they're making their way there regardless. We're just gonna give things a moment here to get settled, and in the meantime we can enjoy the silence of Chamberpoint, our rowdy coastal home. I don't think it's ever been this calm, frankly. Not since before things started. If Lorsith allows, then we can surely count on it being this calm from now on. Alright, well, things are still a bit messy around here, but we're gonna do this. Just gotta get some levers pulled. Having a look down in the transformation chamber, we have Irvad and Ral down here. Prepare yourselves, you two. Things are about to get started. Just gotta start pulling some levers real quick. Ted, I'll leave this up to you. There we go. First lever is pulled. And now the other levers. Let's do it. 1, 2, and 3. Would you have a look here? Calm in Chamberpoint. Our people are back at work for the most part, and I don't hear any fighting, any arguing, nothing at all. Surprisingly quiet. It is strange to have our people working, going about their normal lives, and also knowing that things aren't going to fall apart. It gives you a nice peace of mind, I'd say. That's something we've needed here for quite some time. Tranquility. Wonderful. Praise be to Lorsith and the Velvet of Vaults. And would you look at this? We just had an artifact made. That really is something. Might as well have a look. It's our first artifact after this new change. It might be a particularly important one. Odam Basenthica, not Lith I guessed, a dwarf gem setter Risen Stalker, has created et Vutharses, a brown zircon scepter. She offers it to the weight of suffering. Well, thank you very much, Odam. Let's have a closer look. Risen Stalker, too, that is something. Well, its name translates to Scandal Knights, but we don't know how much it's worth right now. Our old bookkeeper must have been one who was, transformed just now. Anyways, this is a brown zircon scepter. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with tapered baguette-cut brown zircons. Very nice. You know what? Actually, I think this should probably go to our mayor, don't you? Udil, the one who facilitated our great change here, and the rebirth of Chamberpoint. Sometime down the road, far, far down the road, of course, there will be great books written about this dwarf. Our mayor, the one who was able to crush Scorch Fountain and bring peace to Oridashi. And so we'll get a pedestal made and set it right up in his bedroom. And... the Cyclops Zotho Asagesku Moody Penna has come. A giant humanoid monster with a single eye set in its forehead. Alright, I'm gonna tell you what, not really something we need right now. Neither is it something I think we can handle very well. We got a bunch of newborn dwarves over here, still trying to get a hang of things. Ooh boy, this could be some really bad news. We all know well what that first Cyclops did. Having a look down this way here, you can see our bridge, and our moat for that matter. Something we haven't looked at in a while. The moat is filled, so that's all done, but, well, I guess we were kind of foolish, and this bridge is not linked up to a lever yet, so it's not going to do us a whole heck of a lot of good. That being said, we're kind of in the same exact position we were when that last Cyclops attacked. Not much we could do. You know what, actually I'm going to say we're in a worse position than when that last Cyclops attacked. A lot of our reborn citizens are currently in the hospital. We have a lot to explain here, but, well, we gotta deal with this first. Yeah. I'm not too sure what we could do. We don't have the necessary hands to even get those grizzly bears outside again. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. Alright, here we are, once again, looking down towards the Rangers Guild. We can see the Cyclops moving right in towards the scene of that previous Cyclops massacre. And out in this field, you can see that one friendly damned one, the one with its guts trailing behind it. The Cyclops has moved in to attack, and is really giving this poor damned one the business. Yeah, this guy does not stand much of a chance, I don't think. A damn shame. Well, this is unfortunate. I'm not too sure what we could do right now other than just burrowing ourselves away. But we do have some damned ones moving in right now. I had kind of hoped they'd get here a little sooner, but it does not look to be the case. And that one gutsy damned one has now died. Not great. Speeding things up a bit. Yeah, the Cyclops is moving down towards the Rangers Guild, has spotted another dwarf, a butcher, and yeah, is beating the ever-living hell out of them, beating them, beating them. The bears inside the Rangers Guild can't do a thing, unfortunately. Okay, alright, this is interesting. From the south, we had an elf run in, an elf risen stalker. Well, that's interesting. It looks like the elf is gesturing, which causes the Cyclops to be sick, and it looks like they're raising a heavy fog as well. Very interesting. Certainly helping out, it seems. Wow, this elf is really, saving the day here. Oh boy, would you look at that. 3-on-1, and the Cyclops is terribly wounded. And dead. Would you look at that. Well, you know, that was certainly a lot more impressive than that first Cyclops attack. Good job, dwarves. And elf. Elf primarily, actually. Very good job. And would you look at that, actually. It seems that that wounded, terribly wounded butcher is the one who killed the Cyclops. This dwarf is now missing a foot and a hand, and is all kinds of beaten up. Just basically a dwarven meatball. but they were able to kill that cyclops. It really shows you how powerful these damned ones can be. The risen stalkers as well, actually. Yes, I'm thinking we made a very good decision. The future looks bright. But yes, back to old Chamberpoint over here, and we do have a lot of things to explain. Ooh, here 1 second. Just gonna link up this lever to our main gate real quick. But yes, Chamberpoint. What a wonderful fortress it is. Now then, a quick overview. Well, at the current time, our population is, don't freak out, it's 68, which is a considerable number less than we had when we started this experiment. Maybe 100 less or so, which yes, is terrible, absolutely terrible. But the people we do have left are mostly intelligent undead, which as we just saw are extremely, extremely handy. Now I will note the ones that we did not turn into undead are Ted the Testries Warrior, Rimtar the Smith, Dodak or Fishface, 3 of our founding members. Then we also have Ral the Necromancer, Kogan the Gorlak, Saxel the Gorlak, Lore the Gorlak. The Gorlaks for the most part seem to have pretty good heads on their shoulders. Then we have Urvad, Tun the Bookkeeper, who did not want to take part in the ceremony. We have Udil our mayor, and the fortress's children. We had to keep them safe and sound. They're our future after all. Well, for the most part. We do have a pair of dwarven baby risen stalkers. A bit vexing, but, well, I'm gonna say it again. Chamberpoint is finally at peace. And we're strong. Strong as heck. I'm thinking we stand a much better chance around here now. And in addition to that, well, let's have a quick look to see if we have any interesting faces that were reborn just then. Well, the only one I can think that we really know is the Sausage, the Gorlak, a very unhappy individual. Yes, she took part in the ceremony, and is now over here in our hospital with quite a few of the others. Yeah, she got beat up pretty bad. It was a crazy ceremony, really, bringing back all those dwarves like that. Not all of them were intelligent undead initially. Some of them would be mindless zombies and they'd attack other ones who would get injured. And so you'll see here that Sausage now is missing both of her tusks and is awaiting medical attention, which she will receive soon. I'm sure she's going to be back up on her feet before long. No worries at all. And you know what? I think from now on, she's not going to feel any of that anger that she previously possessed. All these people, actually. Yes, I can imagine them being quite satisfied here in Chamberpoint now. Oh, and would you look at that? Some migrants have arrived, despite the danger. Danger, not anymore. Not at all. Oh my, yes, would you look at that? A whole bunch of new people, just piling in through the gates. Well, I'll tell you what. It might be for the best if we get that ceremony chamber cleaned up and hold another one post-haste. But I suppose we'll see what happens. We are still trying to get things cleaned up a bit around here. But you know what? That's fine. Because with that ceremony, we've turned over a new leaf. This entire time so far, we've been living as fools. But now we see the light. We're fighting a necromancer baron after all. And what better idea could there be than to fight fire with the fire? Chamberpoint be praised. Well, hello, you bearded bastards, and welcome to the end of the episode where we're going to be talking about some behind-the-scenes things. Now, first and foremost, I want to mention that Mrs. K did really want to talk to you guys, but when it got down to it, she felt kind of uncomfortable. I mean, she hasn't really done this sort of thing before, so I don't blame her at all. But she just really wants you to know how much she appreciates all your comments. She saw all your kind words in that last episode, and she just wants you to know how much it means to her. It really does too, you gotta know it. A heartfelt thank you from the legendary waxworker known as Mrs. K. Anywho, this episode, I'd say the biggest Chamberpoint episode so far, some seriously heavy plot elements in this one. Now, I'm gonna address the fact right off the point that the turn that Chamberpoint is taking might not be up everyone's alleys. I already saw some pretty displeased comments in that last episode, with the suggestion that we might be going undead again, like I've done in the past in my other series. But you know what, all I can say is keep watching, I guess. To be frank, I don't know what's going to happen from episode to episode. I don't really plan that much. And if I do plan anything, it tends to go assways right before those plans get put into place. There's nothing more that I'd like than a nice coastal home, plenty of good food, fishing up some whales and stuff. But you know what? This game does tend to get away from you sometimes. I really tried to illustrate in this episode too how unhappy it was. I haven't really been showing you. I would make mentions to how rowdy it is, but you know, it's really been downplayed this entire time. It's miserable here. And if we didn't do something, then the entire fortress would have been crushed. Like, actually. I guess at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And if you don't like it, that's what happens. My bearded bastards. I really want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. And you know what? I certainly hope to see you next time here in my fall kill, Chamberpoint. And until then, you bearded bastards.